Fever.
No, in the Cabin in the Woods, they are pumping gas into the house to make the people change. But there are also monsters.
Okay. Okay. That's awesome. I guess. So I watched Cabin Fever 2 today. It is most likely a sequel to the original.
I'd say so, because I don't think the other one's been out that long.
Fuck. I will tell you this from the bottom of my nuts. It is one of the grossest movies I've seen in a long motherfucking time.
I mean, to be fair, the first one was kind of a gross movie.
Are you near me?
Next to the Jojo Factory, or Jojo Mart, whatever the fuck they will call it.
Because I can hear you fishing.
Like, I'm right next to the bridge.
Or is this that game that does that no matter what? Like, no matter how far or close you are to me, I'll hear the noise. Like, I'll hear your noises. So basically, this guy. Oh God, Mark, hold me close. Put your arm in my hand. Wait, what? Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
Like the whole thing?
No, not the whole thing. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why is this game so weird? It just does weird shit regularly. So, what happens? Tell me with your face. What happens in the original Cabin in the Woods? What's the plot?
Me Cabin Fever?
Yes.
Good lord. I think 4 or 5 friends.
I'm not seeing it. Get off my back.
It's okay. 4 or 5 friends go to a cabin in the woods.
Oddly enough.
Which is maybe why you're getting the confusion. But they go in the woods. They like keep going to this like market in town, which is weird. And there's a kid sitting outside saying pancakes. And he's just rocking back and forth saying pancakes.
I dare say that might be your favorite part of the movie.
It's a weirdest part of the movie, to be sure. But the main plot is like eventually this guy comes out from the woods and he's like all sickly looking, and I think he like coughs blood on them or something. Just to be sure, like he gets them sick. Some of them get sick, and then there's a scene that's pointless where a guy talks about letting a dog lick his nuts while he has peanut butter on them. That was pointless. But yeah, someone gets sick, and
I was standing
basically
on this
like
side. Why did it do that?
they start coughing up blood, and like their skin starts peeling off really easy. I remember there's this part where one of the female people have one of the other male characters cheat on their girlfriend, and there's this part where he's like digging into her back, and like you can see the skin like almost coming off.
Oh, that makes me feel nice when you say those words. That isn't gross at all.
The main point like is that like the town apparently knows.
I'm about to say I feel like it's just a gross movie.
Like it's meant to be like, oh god, that's so gross.
Yeah, because it's not horrific necessarily, but it is nasty. So here's what the second movie is.
But just to give you an idea, like after all of this stuff happens, and the town's basically like, oh ha ha ha, you're a bunch of nobodies from out of nowhere. We're just gonna pretend this never happened and let you die from the disease. And one of them got away and went into the water supply, and everyone's like drinking the water from the water supply. And the implication is the entire town got sick.
Alright, so here's what happened. The second movie is that.
Okay.
Not even kinda. The second movie is that. The second movie starts with this guy running out from the woods, and he doesn't look good. He doesn't look healthy. one could easily say he looked fucked up. And this school bus that, what the fuck is that?
It's a singing stone.
And a school bus filled with children hits him, and he explodes. Like, when I say he explodes,
he becomes a red mist.
Yeah, like he exploded. So then what happens is, like, there's a cop. The cop's dumb. Like, he's just a dumb cop. And it's not like, oh, I'm Officer Doofy. A dur. He's like, it's hard to explain. Watch this fucking movie. But what ends up happening is, I've not seen the first movie, so I don't know how to compare.
I really don't know how to describe how the cops in the first movie were either. Like, they knew what was going on.
There was one
they acted
cop
stupid about it.
in the first movie. One cop. There was one cop in the second movie. Like, just the one cop. Like, there were no other cops. And he's the one that gets called when the, he's the one that gets called when the, when the school bus hits the thing. And when I say, like, the whole front of the bus is just covered in, like, it's covered in strawberry jelly. And he tells the dude about how the, how, oh no, man, you just hit a moose. That's all it was. You hit a moose, man. That was what that was. It was a moose. If you can't understand what I'm getting at, is he's under the impression that the man hit a moose.
Is he under the impression, or is he trying to make the other guy have that impression?
At first, it seems like he's completely under the impression that the dude hit a moose, but I could be 100,000,000,000% wrong. Like, he totally understood what was going on, because after he tells the dude, "Don't worry about it," the school bus driver gets back in the bus. It is at this point only does he decide to wipe off to run the windshield wipers, to get the blood off the windshield while kids are still in the goddamn bus. But as the trooper is getting back in his car, he sees a foot and an ankle, a fankle, if you might, in the tree, like stuck in a tree next to where next to the side of the road. It's basically a shoe, and it's very obvious that. Oh, that's so frustrating. It's the most frustrating thing. I'm glad
I'm going to the mine.
I'll be right. I'm right over here. I'll be there soon, because I hate this game and this life that this game is trying to make me live. So I'm assuming that this guy. Are you already in the mine?
No, I'm going up to the area right now.
So I'm assuming that this guy is under, like, I don't know how to describe it, because it seems like, okay, so I don't know how the first movie went. I've said that, so I've told you nothing. 5 minutes straight, I've told you nothing. What happens is the intro sequence of the movie. The intro sequence of the movie is not just a normal intro sequence. Found it. It's animated, and what seems to happen is, I think they try to portray that the like pieces of the body parts from the dude that died got into the water supply, and then what happens then is, like, that water found it.
Okay.
What happens then is that water gets filtered and bottled and distributed.
Yeah, That was what it was. Like there was a bunch of kids. Like it was like meant to be like a really happy time that everybody was drinking this water and all that.
So,
Like at the end of that other movie.
so yeah, so that's what happens. Um, but because of this, basically anybody who drank the water is now infected.
Yeah.
And not everybody drank the water. Only a select few people drank the water. Are you serious? Did you pick up the diamond?
Yeah. I really need a better sword. Oh, I am not doing good. Just realized how much health I had.
Oh my gosh. I hate the way, like, I realize it's not like I'm not intended to use, like, the algae like this, I don't think. But it takes so fucking long to just simply, like, refill my health. I know the answer is, well, if you, like, yeah, I know, but the fact that I have to do that way, it's annoying. So, what happens is, like, in this movie...
I found that.
Thank you. I appreciate your efforts. In this movie, what happens is, I hate the control layout, the control scheme for this game. It's set in a high school, and, like, the first kid we see, who's supposed to be a high school age student, looks like he's in his fucking 40s. Like, he's clearly not a kid. Oh, hey, cool, we've reached another level. And, what happens is they're getting ready to go to prom, and we basically spent like the first 25 minutes of the movie. We spent like the first 25 minutes of the movie being told who people are and like getting some kind of understanding. So there's Chucklefuck. We're gonna call him the Spider-Man and Oracle and the Man in the Chair, right? So Man in the Chair, because I don't remember their fucking names. They're not important. But it's one of those, like, there's the hottest girl in school. There's specifically a situation in the movie where, like one of them is late to class. They both end up being late to class. But the fat kid, he's not a fat kid. That's the fucked up thing. Man in the Chair.
I'm gonna die. I gotta go.
I'm trying to protect you.
Because you do not want to die in the caves.
I'm trying to protect you.
Because you go back several floors if you die in the cave.
Found it. Go pick up this thing over here though, because hold on.
This bat.
Yeah. My health is so why didn't I eat the cookies?
I'm gonna try to avoid that slime. If I can.
He's not avoiding you. Whew. Energy is fine, health is not. I think I'm gonna have to leave.
That'd probably be a good idea.
Yep, I gotta go. I'm a dying boy.